And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good morning, friends, family, and fellow futures traders. It's time for the market forecast, Tuesday, August the 2nd. My name is John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. And as always, our focus is on accurate context, good risk management, and remaining patient in our trading this morning. Got a nice cup of coffee here. I'm ready for the day. Got a good night's sleep last night. It happens to be ice cream sandwich day here, National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. So get yourself an ice cream sandwich today. Do something nice for yourself. We work hard at this. We deserve it. Economic numbers this morning, 9 o'clock. We're waiting for the jobs and labor turnover survey. Usually a kind of a secondary employment number, but probably a little bit more in focus this morning. We also have 3 talking Feds throughout the day today. We have Evans, which I believe is going to be speaking around 9 o'clock, Meester around noon, and Bullard after the close. That's it as far as known economic numbers. We've got our equities a little bit on edge this morning, opening lower with the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, set to visit Taiwan today. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you're well aware of how nervous this is making people, not only here in the U.S., but around the world. Again, the job opens and labor turnover survey is going to be closely watched for signs of a cooling job market. Earnings to watch today already out. Caterpillar with mixed results. BP with killer results, really a big quarter for BP. And Marriott finished with good results. We've got a long list of earnings today, kind of hard to keep track of and make decisions based on those. But after the close, we got a couple of chip makers, AMD and Microchip, due out after the close. PayPal and Starbucks also. We got our crude traders a little bit on edge this morning. A little volatility coming into the crude market in the overnight. It's going to be another interesting trading day today. Just checking the VIX up 6%. The fear factor is coming back into the equities markets. 24.22 last I checked. The dollar index up a little bit, 105.70, and the yield on the 10-year just keeps eroding away. 2.53%. You're going to get more money on a 6-month note than you are on a 10-year. The 10-year is actually the lowest, past 6 months that you're going to get. So we've still got the yield curve inverted. We're watching for employment, and as we all know, we've got 2 quarters of slowing economic activity with the GDP. I would call this a recession, unfortunately. As always, though, make sure you hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome here on the Market Forecast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, get notified when we do go live. Speaking of going live, we've got a coach's playbook today at 11:30. Looking forward to seeing you all there. As far as live is concerned, we've got Make Hogue Money just after the market forecast this morning. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. We've got a little bit of a change to it, and we are getting ready for the trading day today. As always, got to check everybody in here. Shaw, first one in the room again today. You win the prize. Scott saw and he conquered. Brody, Orion, good morning. Josh, Theo, Brian, Josh. You're going to get an email. I know that our funding department is working diligently on getting your account set up so you can get back to business as soon as possible. Just take your time, Josh. When you get into it, make sure you dance with the one you brung. Tachyon, good morning, my brother Rick. Always good to see you. I love you. Dimitar, James, Dark Heaven, coffee. What's happening, traders? Happy Tuesday on my happy coffee cup here. This coffee seems to be tasting extra good this morning, even without any Irish whiskey in it. George, good morning. Terry King, Dan Trader, good morning. Patrick, Kevin, Guy, Jules, DA, Denise, good morning. Bill Phillips, Daryl Kimbrough, Charles March, Exclusive Quality. That's a good name. Good morning, successful people like that. Serenity Trader, buen dia. Anthony, Marcelo, the Rooster is here. Good morning, Zerain, Hegel Matters, Toph, JD, good to see you this morning. Sarah Hall, always a pleasure to see you. Prayers and love to you as well. And Stephen C. Unicus, good morning. Quote for the day: don't let yesterday take up too much of today. I like that. You know, when you're driving a car, the rear view mirror is kind of small and the windshield is kind of big. Keep your eyes looking forward. Frederico, good morning. Channing, good morning. Serenity Trader. Josh, yes, you will get an email. Rob T. Orion can never get in for some reason. Well, I don't know. Well, you'll I don't know. Some people seem to have it figured out. Mango Heist, good morning. Joe, me too. Never get the email. Three Lions. Are you talking about group for Make Hook Money? You should be getting an email an hour before. Check your spam folder if you're not getting the email an hour before Make Hook Money. Three Lions, good morning. Jan R. John Hukel, dead letter opener, yo. Joe, I sign up every week but never got the email. I am sorry about that. If you make sure that you have registered in the Zoom meeting, you should be getting an email an hour beforehand that lets you know and gives you the link to get in. Joe, I should say, let's Make Hogue Money. Yeah, you should check your spam email. Check your spam. It may even be in there right now. Let me know if you do see it in there. Mango Heist. Right now, I don't know if we have a calendar listed on the website or anything, but it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays right after the market forecast. Frederico usually does receive the email. I would check your spam folders. Expanding, Joe, we are in the process of doing so. We've got a couple of issues. We want to put it on YouTube, but if we're going to put it on YouTube, then it's going to be difficult to bring people in to talk. So we're still going to probably be doing it in Zoom and then broadcasting it on YouTube, thinking about expanding the number of days, maybe even the amount of time, and maybe even adding some products over time. So we have plans to do it, and I'll certainly be letting you know when those plans come to fruition. Mango Heist, if you take this link, whoops. Let me find it here. If you take this link, it will or should take you to our website where you're going to be able to register for Make Hogue Money, and I'm hoping that it's working correctly. If it is not, give me 1 second and I'll give you the direct link so you can just get in there directly today if you're having trouble. Here is the direct link to the Zoom meeting. And okay, so it did. Good. Email is out. Okay. All right. So yeah, if you're not getting the email, I would definitely check your spam folder. All right, without further ado, we want to get into the charts here this morning because we do have Make Hogue Money today. We want to kind of be done with the forecast by about a quarter after, and then meet in the Zoom room that you have the registration for now in Make Hogue Money, and we're going to see what we can do today. A little bit of a change in Make Hogue Money today, and I think we'll all be pleased with it. Here we go. S&Ps. And we were talking yesterday and maybe a little bit on Friday how we were starting to fear that the upside auction that began really a week ago last Tuesday, 2 weeks ago today. Not a problem, Maureen, not a problem. I want to make sure that you are that you're able to get in. BM referred to your website by beginner trading. Looking forward to learning how it all works. Well, good. I'm glad. BM tomorrow. If you watch the market forecast, I'll be putting in a link to group coaching, which is on Monday and Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central. So if you're able to join us, that's a great place to start asking questions. There are no bad questions. Okay. But welcome. We're glad you're here. All right, so back to the S&Ps. We were kind of thinking the upside auction may be tiring a little bit. We brought in some good volume through Thursday last week, lost a little bit on Friday, started losing a little bit of open interest, which again, we lost a little bit of an open interest yesterday of minus 1,300 estimated. So kind of looking at a kind of a perfect storm for a pullback in this up move, because with Nancy Pelosi and the whole thing going on with China, there's a little bit of fear back in these markets, and it's got traders and investors on edge. We have new uncertainties present. Traders are on edge. The 30-minute chart here. Okay, we've got kind of a new thing on here. I've been putting VWAP on here, and this is the second and third standard deviation of VWAP. Settlement yesterday, 41.20.50. All of our overnight activity is adding to shorter time frame shorts. We got an overnight inventory that is leaning to the short side. What does that mean? Well, all of these shorter hands traders, you can see there's very little volume, very small traders have been pushing price lower. We can then assume that they are holding short positions. If when the regular trading hour session opens, whether we open with a gap or not, if they don't get what they're looking for, and that's continuation to the downside in longer time frame trade, then they sometimes will scare themselves back towards settlement. We got a little bit of fear in the markets here. We're all well aware of what's going on. So I'm going to be looking to see if we do open with a gap. A gap would be below yesterday's regular trading hour session, which that is 40.97. So if we open below 40.97 and we can't close the gap relatively early, gap rules has us looking for opportunities to sell strength against the gap. We go with the gap if we can't fill the gap relatively early. Last week's high, we found resistance yesterday. This was the high that was put in on Friday. Last week's high, we found resistance yesterday. We're finding a gap potentially for the open here. One of the beautiful things about Tuesdays is we're going to watch the open for the S&Ps together and make hog money. There's plenty of weak structure down below. We've got points of control. We've got areas of very little time. We've got lots of high volume node, low volume node areas down here. We've got another naked point of control down here. So it's not like we've got a whole bunch of gaps down below, but we are seeing some potential weaknesses in the structure to the upside here. This could be just a pullback. It could be a perfect storm in the fact that we're seeing the auction process kind of tiring at the high here. Now we have new information. So I think the most important thing that we're going to be watching on the open this morning is the market opening in or outside of yesterday's range? Opening outside of range is the indication of the potential of an out of balance type of day. An out of balance day would be a day like this, perhaps an out of balance day in the opposite direction. Okay, so we're going to go and check out crude oil now. I'm going to go check out crude. Hello. And see what we've got going on here. So Friday, we had an attempted weekly kickoff high. Now we're kind of hanging down near weekly kickoff low. We looked below it yesterday. Okay, weekly kickoff low is currently 93.60. We looked below it yesterday. We looked below it last night. Actually, 92.50, which was a previous weekly kickoff level. You'll see on the 30-minute chart, seems to be a little bit more valid than our current weekly kickoff level. It's become more magnetic than repulsive. Let's see what we've got as far as the 30-minute chart, and we'll take a look into the opening range trade as we get through this. So here's a previous weekly kickoff level. Sometimes I leave them on here grayed out because they do become relatively important at times. So here's weekly kickoff. We drove right to it, and then we ranged around it all day yesterday. Or if you were using weekly kickoff as a pivotal level, as in short above or short below or long above, you probably got pretty chopped up yesterday. We're not going to do that today. We don't have any overnight inventory as far as crude is concerned. We added 11,000 contracts at this level. So this level, while it may not be directional at this time, is bringing in interest. A lot of folks looking to see what's going to happen when we move away from this. Again, 11,000 new contracts in open interest estimated for a day that really stayed inside range, and in large part inside value. So we've opened inside value today. We're going to take a look at this first minute here, this opening range trade, which doesn't seem to be operating correctly. Here's the high of the opening range is 94.27. The low of the opening range is 93.77. So we're looking at a relatively large opening range that is now pushing to the downside. We see the opening range breaking out lower, and the market is pushing lower. So this is not kind of typical of a day that I would be choosing to use the opening range for an execution because we have the market opening in range and inside of value. So it leads me to believe that I'm going to find the best trade locations as the day goes on. Excuse me, my goodness. As the day goes on, maybe a decent opportunity early in the session, but nothing that I really want to fall in love with unless we really start to show signs of acceptance below weekly kickoff low and find that we're able to take out yesterday's lows, the 92.50 previous weekly kickoff low. Look at what we did last night. I mean, we traded down to 92.59, 92.60, 92.60. This area just looks supportive. Looks like we might be able to find some fish there if we get the opportunity. Opening range, I'm not that worried that we've missed it because, again, we've opened in range and in value. If you come to the market recap today, remind me to take a look at this and see if indeed the best trade location for the day did come later on in the session, or did the opening range provide the best trade location for the day? We're going to check that out later on. NASDAQ. Similar, but different. Upside auction doesn't seem as tired as the S&Ps. Yesterday we had an overlapping to higher range, overlapping to higher value. We added 2,900 in open interest yesterday on a little bit higher volume. So the NASDAQ really presented a more healthy auction process yesterday. However, it did close in a doji, which kind of gives us the idea that the market is kind of searching for new information. This doji is just kind of telling us that the market is in equilibrium and kind of confused and maybe a little bit timid and looking for some sort of new opportunities. And these new uncertainties have certainly provided the impetus to get some kind of a pullback against our recent upside auction. Let's take a look at the 30. So again, settlement is here. The market opened at 5 o'clock right here, pretty much at settlement. We've got a whole bunch of overnight inventory shorts, shorter, weaker hands traders, shorter time frame that are holding shorts, looking for continuation to the downside when the regular trading hours open up. I hope that you're going to be able to attend Make Hogue Money today, because this might be a very interesting open in the S&Ps, as we've already kind of discussed. Do we have a gap? Are we going to open with a gap? Are we going to close the gap relatively early? Are we going to leave the gap and continue the push to the downside? All of these things as we stay tuned to as the market turns. S&Ps, NASDAQ, our heroes, what are they going to do today? Nobody knows. We're looking for some sort of context and ways to manage risk. Well, we know we've got some weak structure down below, same as we do here in the NASDAQ and in the S&Ps. This, I think, is a 20-session moving average. Yeah, this is a 20-session exponential moving average. Yeah, the S&Ps have been stuck between VWAP and the second standard deviation of VWAP to the downside all night long. They've been bouncing off VWAP. So, again, at least it's giving us some reference. Are we going to open with a gap or not? Are we going to close the gap quickly, or are we not? Are we going to continue to push to the downside, or is our overnight inventory going to get nervous if they don't find sellers pushing price lower right away? And are they going to give us a better opportunity for shorts if that is our idea, if that's our hypothesis, or is it going to continue? I'm going to go back to the 30-minute on the S&Ps here, because this has that VWAP on it. So this is the volume-weighted average price from the beginning of last night to now. Look at how the market's been holding and kind of holding below it. Hang on. It's been holding below it. This is the second standard deviation. It's been supportive. So when we break out either side of those, there may be some kind of an opportunity. If we do take out and find acceptance above VWAP after the open, I think that's going to be pretty much just enough to have all of these shorts decide they're going to bail and bring price back up to higher levels, which might be good if you are looking for opportunities to sell strength in the S&Ps. I can't believe I'm saying that, but look at gold. Finally, we're getting some momentum here. We got day 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, one time framing higher. In other words, higher lows and higher highs consistently. This is all time frames working together. We lost 4,000 in open interest yesterday, but a lot of that was the August contract. Minus the August contract, we added 1,100 in future contracts, which to me is a good sign of a continuing auction to the upside. We're not doing that great with volume. Today may change that, and we've been talking about the idea that if we get some legs, there's a lot of space above here. I mean, we could trade all the way up to 1825, 1830, that kind of area, which would be a pretty substantial move, and it looks like we're already kind of on our way. Unfortunately, a lot of this has happened while I was doing other things, and I haven't been able to participate, but I'm hoping that others are. This little red this hash mark here is the low of the opening range in the regular trading hour session. That low is 1794.60. As long as we hold there, we're going to be holding the gap. If we continue to look for opportunities to buy weakness in this area, we may have, a pretty decent morning. If we took the opening range trade, we're sitting on a nice profit here already. If we're looking for continuation, which is entirely possible, we've been talking about it for a while, then we may see this market continue to push to the upside. We've got our whole moving averages that are leading higher. We're above VWAP. We're expanding the standard deviations of VWAP. Everything says it looks like pretty good here for gold, and you're going to be just trying to find places to buy pullbacks in this until proven wrong. Where does it prove wrong? To me, if we take out the low of the opening and we get back into yesterday's value or range or value. So there's a lot of space, a lot of opportunity for pullbacks here. But I think we're looking at a market that is presenting it in a relatively strong upside auction. Take a look at the euro. Oh my goodness. how many times are we going to push up against that weekly kickoff level without true acceptance? That open interest, we increased at 3,700 contracts yesterday. It seems like there's money coming in that's looking for this market to break out to the upside or finally fail and move quickly away from that level. We had a deep excursion above that weekly kickoff high last night. And remember, markets don't like recent highs or all-time highs to occur in the overnight session. The overnight session. Here's the 30-minute chart. So here we go. We've been kind of bouncing overnight, regular trading hour session highs, looking above that level, unable to find buyers up there, too many sellers. Last night we looked above it in extended trading hours, and this market is not going to like that. For whatever reason, markets just don't like recent or all-time highs to occur in the overnight session. You want all of the participants available to put pressure or act on the marketplace up there. So I'm suggesting that even though we're down now, at some point in the future, we're going to come up here and take this out in regular trading hours, so that everybody has the opportunity to participate up there should they choose to. Overnight inventory, we're a little bit short. We've just now, I think, come and closed the gap. Let's see where we are here, 637. Yeah, we opened with a gap. We've now closed the gap. We're going to be able to now close out this naked point of control because this is regular trading hours. And we're closing this gap right here as well. So we close the gap from here, close the gap from here. All of this is range-bound activity. I'm not going to be looking for too much to do in the middle. My focus is going to be on the extremes. And for the most part, the upper extreme is where I'm really looking forward to finding an opportunity. And the 10-year. One time framing higher. One, two, three, four, 5, day 5, one time framing higher. The 10-year yield continues to erode. I mean, it's the lowest yield between the 6-month and the 30-year treasuries. We added 5,800 to open interest yesterday, but volume really started to fall off. 30-minute chart here. Okay, opening with a gap, overnight inventory, maybe mixed to long. Looks like we're making an effort to come down here and close the gap. We've got last week's high here that may be somewhat important as far as a support level for us. And if we can't not close this gap, then there's only two things that can happen. We can range here, or we can start continuing to push to the upside. We've got a naked point of control just above here that is aching to be revisited. Now the natural gas, we put up a late spike yesterday. That late spike is now being rejected. This is a powerful symbol that this market is probably going to continue its move to the downside. Volume and open interest indicate we possibly trapped a whole bunch of longs. We added 3,100 in open interest on a day that ended up really kind of looking like an up day. So if we added a bunch of longs here, those longs are currently trapped. So here's the late spike. Not a very big late spike, but look at where we opened. Way away, almost through value to the downside from the late spike. This, I would say, is pretty stiff rejection of higher pricing, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the move up to the upside yesterday. I mean, this is all brand new longs coming into this market. They are taking heat, if you'll pardon the pun. I mean, it is natural gas. Of course, they're taking heat. Maybe this has just been enough to have them capitulate, because we did end up looking like we had some overnight shorts in this market, maybe a little bit of a pullback. But if we continue to reject value from yesterday, it looks like we've opened in an area that might start to look like repair here. So if you're not into selling too low, you may get a pullback here that may give us a better opportunity to find a better trade location for shorts. Whenever there's a move that's already in progress, I'm usually pretty poor at finding my way in. So I'm not going to be trading the natural gas, but we like to look at it because it is a fascinating market. All right, so all right, well, it's make hogue money. We're going to call this a session so I can get set up. Be thinking about whether we want to try the opening range trade in the S&Ps, but only if the opening range is less than 5 points. Take your deep breath. Stay humble, grateful, and creative in your trading today. Yeah, we'll see you. Well, if I don't see you on Make Hogue Money, be patient, trade well today. We're looking forward to seeing your success. Don't forget about the Coach's Playbook at 11:30 and the recap at 3 o'clock. We're going to see how these markets fared for us here. So get out there and profit. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Say a prayer for world peace and peace within yourself. And I'll see you in just a couple of minutes on Make Hogue Money. Give me a second to get things set up. Trade well today.